Uchiha Madara and Hashirama team up for ultimate battlefield domination. Like, share and subscribe. Episode 41. In the process of approaching the psychic beast dream taper, he noticed that between the pillars behind him, Susanoo was still a little dissatisfied. And directly stopped. Between the columns. This is my battle. Don't make a fuss, Spots. I'm not worried about your accident. What's wrong with two people shooting? Of course, even if I don't need you to help, I can solve it myself. Huh? Are you kidding? Besides, I'm not used to joining forces with others in my life. Susanoo looked arrogant and stared at the pillars with dissatisfaction. After fusing the Uchiha band template, Susanoo was indeed very disgusted with the people behind him at this time. This can be said to be the weakness of Uchiha Spot. At the same time, it can also be said that it is the characteristic of Uchiha Spot. Always alone and don't like others behind him. This is the pride that belongs to Uchiha Ban. No matter who you face, you have to fight him face to face. In addition, probably because he does not have a presence worthy of his own back. Susanoo, who fused the Uchiha Spot template, naturally has its own pride. Seeing Susanoo's complicated look, the pillar laughed passionately. Ha ha ha, Spot. Sure enough, you still don't like others to follow behind your back. If that's the case, I'll play. Watch me do it. At this moment, I saw that Zhu Jian and Susanoo were still arguing about who to shoot. The Dream Taper's heart is furious. Abominable Dragon Nation humans. Did you take me seriously? It is intolerable and intolerable. After seeing that his attack had no effect on Pillar Jian and Susanoo and others just now, he was already extremely unhappy in his heart. So at this moment, the angry and corrupt Dream Taper roared angrily and began to change the way of fighting. Roar, phew. He changed the blowing wind to the form of suction. A powerful gravitational force erupted from his mouth. Neither the rear of the door nor the White Moon Kuei thought that the Dream Taper had such an attack method. He staggered forward for a few steps, relying on the weapon in his hand to stop. And Susanoo, who was standing in front, was naturally still unmoved. Between the pillars, following the wind suction force of the Dream Taper, it had rushed to the front and began to attack the Dream Taper. Wouldn't escape. Tree realm descending, hands clap, what's coming? Thundered. The familiar ground shake sounded again. At this time, the pillar was already much stronger than when he had just arrived at the Forbidden Land. After fighting with Susanoo, he has begun to adapt to the use of chakra in the national embargo. The power of the blood inheritance boundary would retreat has been able to be further released. Thousands of wooden chakras poured out of the pillars in a frenzy. His wooden chakra became the source of life, allowing the sleeping seeds in the ground to germinate rapidly and grow dramatically. Then it turns into vines, trunks, and branches, breaks out of the ground, and with a savage growth posture, begins to spread over the battlefield. Before long, the surrounding area of the Dream Taper was directly occupied by a sea of trees. After seeing this scene, the audience in the live broadcast room was all shocked. Get one's dander up. The whole audience seemed to be dumbfounded, stunned, and unable to speak. Because everything in front of me is really shocking. It wasn't until a long time later that someone slowly recovered from the shock and began to speak in the barrage area. Oh my god. Again, those vine branches from the last time appeared. And it's bigger. It seems that it is really a skill used between the columns. Is he really a cultivator? It's unbelievable. The ice field, which has no grass, suddenly appears so many plants. This is a miracle. Such a powerful skill, directly can plant trees and change the environment, right? But how effective can such an attack be? It's okay to use it to make furniture and chopsticks, can it still be used for attack? And people in other countries are also red-eyed and desperately shouting. You Dragon Kingdom people will be fancy. All these useless skills, these trees may be eaten directly by the beasts. How could such an attack defeat a B-level beast? Soft, it can't cause much damage at all, right? Of course, it didn't take long. The next scene soon began to tell everyone how powerful this wooden escape technique really was. The Dream Taper in the picture was immediately shocked when he saw this mysterious wooden escape technique. He was no longer able to attack Susanoo and Zhu Jian and quickly escaped from them. But these branches and vines seemed to be conscious, like shadows, directly following the Dream Taper's side, and constantly binding it. After a while, the branches and vines wrapped around the Dream Taper's body were already increasing. In the end, he was quickly completely restrained and unable to move. Although he struggled desperately and burst out a powerful wind force to cut these branches and vines, but it didn't work at all. Even if you break a few branches and vines with difficulty, there will soon be more branches and vines wrapped around it. A sea of trees full of life, now it seems to have become hell. Leave all creatures with nowhere to escape. stuck in the end of the road. The strong contrast is even more staggering. Seeing such a terrible tree world descending, the hearts of audiences from all over the world suddenly set off a fierce wind and rain. Sleeper. God among the pillars. Such a huge B-class fierce beast can also directly make it unable to move. It's better than a heat weapon or anything. It seems that before, the pillar was so calm in the face of the Xian frost python and other fierce beasts, because he really had strength. Definitely the power of the immortals. This is completely beyond what science can explain. It was amazing. Dragon Country has such a player, it will inevitably be a great fortune in the country. Haha, what else can you do to see the White Elephant Country players? This is the fighting philosophy of our Dragon Kingdom, Azukegong. The people of the White Elephant Kingdom were silent at this time. They didn't expect that their players would pour out their national luck, and they couldn't even do anything with Suban and Zhu Jian and others. It's all about fighting the gods. How could they possibly win? As for other countries, they are also stunned by the means of Dragon Country players. If they were to be embarrassed with the Dragon Kingdom players, would they also have to fight against this pillar with mysterious powers? How can this be beaten? It's a praying mantis arm blocking the car. Is it really as a famous person said, as an ancient civilization, the Dragon Kingdom is a sleeping dragon, about to begin to show its glory and shock the world? Even a seemingly weak branch can make people helpless. Right now. Other countries can't even bother to study how this incredible power between the pillars came from. They all thought hard. What kind of foreign policy should they adopt towards the Dragon Kingdom next? Episode 42, and in the picture. Although the birth of the tree realm has already put the Dream Taper into a desperate situation, but at this time, there was still a bit of dissatisfaction between the columns. It seems that I am now only to this extent. However, to deal with this fierce beast, it should be barely enough. This statement made others stunned. What is Versailles? This is the real Versailles, right? Is it true that as Pillar Jian said before, his peak strength has not yet recovered? If you really want to restore your peak strength, wouldn't you be a true god? The Dream Taper in the picture really treats the pillar as a godlike existence. Such a terrible force really made it difficult for him to resist. However, the Dream Taper still has to struggle hard. He exhausted all the chakras on his body and burst out a powerful wind suction force, trying to suck Suban and the pillar into his mouth to solve the enemy. This is the desperate blow of the Dream Taper. Whoops, hecka. Although it was unable to pose much of a threat to the front column, it also caused the pillars to stumble a few steps and had to insert the large sword into the ground to maintain its standing state. The wooden branches made between the pillars were also swallowed up by the Dream Taper, making the restraint in front of its mouth slightly reduced. But see the Dream Taper dying and struggling moves. Suban just sneered. Ridiculous beast. That's enough. Between the pillars, you don't have to be so kind. As soon as the words fell, Suban's hands were sealed, and with the familiar posture of the audience, he began to spit fire in his mouth. Fireball technique. Thigh. One of the most unremarkable entry-level fire escape techniques for Suban directly exploded out. To deal with such a being as the Dream Taper, there was no need for Suban to use a high-level fire escape. In the Dream Taper's frightened eyes, a huge fireball must be reached. The wind helped the fire, and in the blink of an eye, it turned the entire sea of trees created between the pillars into a sea of fire. It's as if it has the power to melt everything in front of you, and you want to burn everything in front of you. Moreover, some of the flames were also swallowed directly into the stomach by the Dream Taper that was inhaling. Roar. The Dream Taper let out a cry of extreme despair and pain. The Dream Taper that swallowed the fiery flames felt like it was going to be burned to ashes from the inside to the outside, from the body to the soul. This flame is a special energy created by Suban using fire to chakra. It's more than the flames of nature. Even the Dream Taper with the power of chakra could not resist this extremely hot temperature at this time. It's like being in a fiery hell. See this. The audience, who was still shocked by the technique of Pillar would escape, was even more blank-minded. The opening and hanging of the Dragon Kingdom players has reached such a fantastic point. It's unimaginable. Oh my god, here it is again, and Suban has begun to spew fire again. Is this still a so-called trick? Isn't it only for barbecue? How can it be so big? Sure enough. The pillars are so powerful, Suban who can suppress him will of course be even more terrifying. The flame of this Suban is even much bigger than this fierce beast. You can almost roast an elephant. Ha ha ha, this elephant-like creature is really compatible with the White Elephant countrymen. Eat everything, ha ha ha, after high-temperature disinfection, clean and hygienic. Reminiscent of the previous battle between Suban and the pillar. The crowd was even more secretly amazed. No wonder they didn't use such a powerful move before. They really want to fight like this, but they are going to kill people. It turns out that the previous fierce weapons battles were all pediatric acrobatics. The fight they started with was really showing affection. No wonder even between the pillars, they don't dare to compete with Suban for spells. Such a terrible flame, how could his trees resist? In the national embargo. See the psychic beast that is in pain at this time. The white elephant players were shocked. How could it be that the B-level fierce beasts they had summoned after pouring out countless national fortunes had been beaten to such a point? The skills used by these Dragon Kingdom people are all ghost things. It's not scientific at all. It has to be a magic movie, or a fairy movie, right? Isn't it a dimensionality reduction strike to come to this national embargoed place to participate in the competition? Of course, even at this time, the white elephant players are not willing to bear their defeat. Singh gritted his teeth fiercely, snapping several of his teeth. I'm not convinced. Damn it. Even if I exhaust the strength of all the white elephants, I will have to defeat them. 30%. Even 50% of the power of national fortune. Use it all to help us, honorable god of the Forbidden Land. We white elephant players are willing to sacrifice all the national fortunes that can be used to make the dream taper more powerful. Bless us to beat the Dragon Kingdom players, but even if Singh tried his best, he could only summon a little more national fortune power. And his whole person also turned into a bloody man, and blood spurted wildly all over his body. This is the repercussion he has suffered by invoking the power of national fortune. And at this time, the people in the White Elephant Country live broadcast room did not return to the previous frenzy, and even began to howl. No, don't absorb the power of national fortune anymore. If we continue like this, all of us will be doomed. I was a young man, desperately vomiting blood, and there was no way to continue typing. Cough cough cough. This is 100 wounds to the enemy, and 8,000 to the loss, or hurry up and surrender, pray that the Dragon Nation people can forgive us. Unfortunately, these white elephant players could not hear the cries of their people. They're crazy by now. Desperate to defeat these Dragon Kingdom players. In addition to Singh, the other white elephant players also began to use all their strength to launch attacks on the Dragon Nation. They took out the pistols and other hot weapons they had obtained before and began to shoot at Suban and the others. Bang 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 bang. Of course, Suban was still dismissive of this. These weak bullets had no way to break through the defense of his flame cluster fan. Oh, the tricks of the weak. It seems that this fierce beast must be related to you. When even you shrimp soldiers and shrimp generals will have the courage to ambush me? Weak people. Stupid people. The selfish man who provokes the war. These are all characters that Suban deeply hates. So today, Suban must clean up these people. Episode 43. As soon as these words came out, Suban, with an extreme sense of oppression, walked step by step towards the White Elephant Country players. Seeing Suban's godlike appearance, the citizens of the White Elephant Kingdom and other hostile countries of the Dragon Kingdom were completely desperate. Oh my god, this is an exaggeration. How can the Dragon Kingdom people use such a strong flame attack? This is magic that we only have in the West. Why can it be used by this Dragon Nation? I suggest that the national sports embargo to disqualify the Dragon Country players, which is not fair to our country at all. Isn't this fan of Suban used for cooling off? How can you still block bullets? It's not scientific at all. This is definitely cheating, no doubt. At this time, the audiences of all countries in the world finally realized how terrifying this Suban person was. Is this a battle between humans? It's just the gods crushing mortals. So how else do they play? The foreign audience who originally wanted to confront the Dragon Nation. At this point, I was extremely panicked. Even if no more weak countries unite, there is no way to cause harm to Suban and others. Unless the people of all countries rush to the top, there is no way to hurt them. Conservatively estimated, at least it must be an S-level fierce beast that suddenly launched an attack on Suban and others to have a way to cause harm to them. The top brass of the countries who were still planning to launch a joint attack on the Dragon Kingdom were all very embarrassed at this time. No matter how unwilling they were to admit the strength of the Dragon Kingdom people, they had to sigh at this time. Dragon Country players are really invincible beings. If you have not reached the point of exhaustion, why fight with them? And the Dragon Kingdom players, at this time, are likely not to show their full strength. Who knows what cards they still have. This is not to be fought. At the time of high-level consultation in various countries. In the national embargo. The struggle of the White Elephant Kingdom was soon coming to an end. At this time, the Dream Taper, even after the desperate reinforcement of the White Elephant player Singer, is still powerless. Trapped by the sea of flame trees, coupled with the powerful fireball technique in his body, he could only roll desperately on the spot, and a vague roar came from his mouth. Before long, it had completely lost its vitality and fell directly to the ground, motionless. And at this time, Singer, the White Elephant Nation player who commanded the psychic beast, was repulsed by the power of powerful national fortune. He had a nervous breakdown, his body withered, and he died on the spot. He killed himself. The prompt tone of the national embargo also sounded at the same time. Congratulations to Dragon Kingdom player Suban for successfully killing the B-level Fierce Beast Dream Taper. Dragon Kingdom became the first country to kill B-class creatures. So the reward is doubled. At the same time, all the contestants of the Dragon Kingdom, by Uekue, Suban, Pillar, and Uzumaki, obtain B-class treasure chests, kill the B-class beast and reward 5,000 points. Double points for 10,000 points. At present, Dragon Country is still ranked first in the national game standings. Total 43,000 points. The sound of this national embargo has also become the last straw that overwhelmed the players of the White Elephant Nation. The only 3 remaining White Elephant Kingdom players were all in a trance, and their eyes were dizzy. The weapon in your hand falls directly to the ground. They have lost the courage to continue fighting. Walking along, after the dream taper was completely burned by the flames, Suban stopped. He was seriously feeling the Uchiha spot template in his body. After the defense at the beginning just now, then the thunder struck to solve the enemy, such as the dream taper. His level of playing has also improved by leaps and bounds, from 35% to 40%. The power possessed by Uchiha Ban can also be further liberated. All kinds of top ninjutsu, eternal kaleidoscope riding wheel eye pupil power, will be further unlocked. As for the words between the pillars, Suban also found that the amount of chakra in his body had increased significantly by virtue of his own feelings, and he had also unlocked a lot of abilities. It's just that there aren't many shots just now, so the strength recovery speed is far less than Suban. Seeing that there was no way for the pillars to be equal to himself, Suban also sighed in his heart. No, you can't. It was not okay for the pillars to collapse like this, and I still had to have an earth-shattering duel with him. Or you have to make him stronger quickly. Why not find a chance to have a good fight with him again? Or do you want to find some other powerful enemy and get him to do it a little? Suban was amused in his heart, and then quickly returned to reality. Looking at the White Elephant players, the killing chi was suddenly released. Airplanes. On top of this unbearable battlefield, there is a killing machine that seems to be transformed into substance. The White Elephant players and others bore the brunt of it, and their faces were even more pale, their pupils were suddenly dilated, and their heartbeats were missing a beat. Even in the cold environment, I had to sweat coldly, and my face was covered with dense beads of sweat. Finished. Their lives are over. Suban, such a killing god, wouldn't he give them a chance? They will surely die. Followed by. Suban slowly walked towards these trembling White Elephant countrymen, like the fierce god of the world. The ever-rotating kaleidoscope of riding wheel eyes flashed a terrible red and bloody light, as if the fire of hell was going to burn them completely. Look at Suban's rapidly turning kaleidoscope riding wheel eyes. As soon as his heart moved, he immediately took a step forward. Spots. Your subordinates are merciful, you don't want to be so impulsive, if you have something to say, don't always fight and kill. We still have a chance to achieve peace. Hearing the words between the pillars, Suban frowned, very dissatisfied with the concept of the pillars. Between the columns. You're still too naive. Sooner or later, if you do this, you will only harm your own companions and country. And even if you treat them well, they may harm you in turn. I'll even laugh at your naivety. Suban's words, throwing sound, reverberating in the ears of audiences around the world. Amazing. Episode 44. After hearing Suban's words, the columns were also particularly unconvinced. Spots. Are you saying this to express your dissatisfaction with my approach? Don't you think that you can destroy peace by such means? Suban's eyes flashed with a cold color, and he said slowly, peace is never spoken of by words, but by force. If you had been able to take iron-blooded measures to directly conquer other forces, would we still be troubled by war? Although the pillars were dumbfounded, they were still weak and weak. In any case, I still don't agree with what you do. For a moment and a half between the pillars, it was indeed impossible to agree with Suban's ideals and beliefs. In the sight of the door, but the exit to help Suban. But big brother, I'll say a word, although I didn't recognize Spot in many ways before. But at this point, I still very much agree with him. If you can join forces with Bane, you don't even need to join forces. Any person who is willing to use force can dominate the world. As long as iron-blooded means are used, many peace problems can be completely solved. The more you think about peaceful dialogue, the more you will only make people quarrel with each other, and there will never be a way to break it. The words between the titles are indeed rational remarks. It is said that Suban rarely praised the door. Nice, Uzumaki. It seems that you still have a bit of a brain, not as naive as Between the Pillars. When he heard this, he skimmed his lips and didn't say anything more. And at this time, listening to the dialogue of Suban and others, countless people were completely dumbfounded. Bayuekue next to him, looking at Suban's determined face, also had to sigh with emotion. It seems that the struggle between Suban and the pillar is all justified. The two of them did not simply fight, but for each other's ideals and beliefs. Moreover, it is a struggle for peace in this world. And for Suban's ruthless words, Bayuekue also agreed incomparably. In this world of war, infighting between people and completely destroying the ecological balance, only a powerful force, only an iron-blooded unified policy, can save this world. Therefore, Suban, who was equally powerful in strength and faith, had already reached a higher level in Bayuekue's heart. As for the audience of the Dragon Kingdom, they were completely fanned by Suban's domineering remarks. Suban was right. This kind of iron-blooded man is the player that we Dragon Nation people need the most. To love and peace, only real armed forces can achieve true peace. The reason why we Dragon Kingdom people have been able to grow up to the point where we have come to this point is not to fight step by step. Otherwise, you think that the rooster territory of our Dragon Kingdom really comes from peace. Suban's words really won my heart, and I will be Suban's first brain residue fan in the future. Suban, come on, you must punish the white elephant countryman who attacked you fiercely. As for the other people who want to hurt our Dragon Kingdom players, we can't let them go either. Otherwise, don't blame us for being unjust. We in the Dragon Kingdom have always been people who salute first and then soldiers, and since they have adopted such insidious means, then we will never be soft in retaliation, which is to repay the grievances with directness. At this time, the audience of the Dragon Kingdom has significantly improved their voice in the international arena. People in other countries are almost all poor in reason. Even those who have the greatest opinions about them are difficult to say more. Either it can only be hard black. You Dragon Nation people are indeed a fierce and vicious people. Even daring to say that he pursues peace is really a blind talk. You must not do anything to the white elephant players, otherwise you are the big bad. The people of the Dragon Kingdom say that for the sake of peace, they should share their resources with us. Otherwise, the Dragon Nation people are hypocrites. So many resources were wasted. Of course, in the face of these rogue clamor, the Dragon Nation people had no need to pay attention to it at all. Next, they only need to defeat all the enemies in the national embargo and let them know how powerful they are, then they will have nothing to say. Suban is not wrong. If you are not of my race, your heart will be different. It is useless to say that it is useless, and you must convince them. Now, there was a theoretical dispute between Suban and the pillar, and the audiences from all over the world were talking about it. In the national embargo. At this time, the white elephant players were still blind, and there was no way to accept their defeat. Especially one of them. Seeing that Suban and Zhu Jian were arguing, and arguing vigorously, they thought that they had no time to take care of themselves. Evil was born to him, and he began to stir again. Thought it was the best moment to fight back. The white elephant secretly fired a few grenades, and then quickly threw them over, hoping to blow up Suban and the pillar. He said viciously in his heart, Although you look very powerful, you are certainly ordinary people, and there is absolutely no way to withstand the explosion damage of these thermal weapons. Even if this person has a very bad fan shield, I can't throw a grenade behind your back. So he aimed between Suban and the two men between the pillars and immediately threw the grenades over. Of course, how could he hide from Suban, who had a kaleidoscopic riding wheel eye, with such a means? Suban was even more disappointed in this. I didn't expect that it was such a time, and this person dared to resist. You can't kill you. Episode 45, and in the real world. At this time, the Dragon Kingdom audience, after seeing the actions of the White Elephant Kingdom players. It was all an uproar. Oh my god, this sinister White Elephant player actually sneaked in at this time. Suban and others, can you notice it? Obviously, they have all been defeated, and they still use such insidious means. Many viewers did not have time to post comments in the live broadcast room. I could only close my eyes and did not dare to look at the next picture. Of course, in the picture. These spectators did not worry for long, and Suban quickly fought back. He directly threw out the flame ball fan and bounced the grenades back one by one. Just get back to the grenade thrower. After the flame cluster fan spun several times in the air, it was also like a boomerang, directly returning to Suban's hand without fail. In the stunned eyes of the white elephant players, the grenade exploded. Boom, man! The flames instantly engulfed the people who had sneaked up on Suban. Brilliant and dazzling. This sneaker, without a doubt, was killed on the spot. The other two white elephant players were also blown up several meters. Although it was not in the range of the center of the explosion, it was not fatal, but it was still badly injured. At this moment, the pillar that was talking was also dumbfounded. They. Of course, the pillars did not feel that this sneak attack was so invincible. Even without Suban, he would certainly not have been directly killed by such a conspiracy. But he didn't expect it at all. They are speaking for these white elephant players, and when they intercede for them, they will even take the initiative to attack. Is your idea really wrong? It's really a dog-biting Ludongbin, I don't know the good heart. There is really no way to achieve peace between people and people. As long as there is interest, will there be a steady stream of hatred? Is there really no way to end the dispute? Suban glanced coldly at the pillar at this time. He knew that what the white elephant players had done could replace 1,000 words. Then, expressionless, he walked towards the remaining two white elephant players. At this time, Zhu Jian also had nothing to say, so he chose to stand by and watch Suban prepare to attack these two white elephant players. After approaching the two white elephant players, Suban said in an indifferent tone, "I'll just ask, who made you shoot at us? Is this your own idea?" Where did they dare to provoke Suban, the god of war, at this time? All hurriedly spoke incoherently, "Yes, I'm sorry. It's all our delusions. That's why I took the initiative to attack you. We know it's wrong. We don't dare anymore. Spare your life. Don't kill us." Because of the existence of special wills in the national embargo, players from all countries can communicate without hindrance and understand each other's language. Suban just said lightly, "So you attack us for no reason? Purely for your personal gain?" The white elephant players had nothing to say and could only desperately beg for forgiveness. "I'm really sorry. All blame us. It's our greed. As long as you let us go, we can do cattle and horses. The Dragon Nation will be our father from now on. We rumble." Knowing their motives, Suban did not hesitate to kill them. In the face of these fierce and vicious enemies, Suban has never been indecisive. Cutting the grass must be rooted. Not to mention the evildoers who take the initiative to provoke disputes? This is the biggest difference between Suban and the column. Immediately after, the broadcast of the national embargo sounded. Broadcast of the national transport embargo. Sing, a white elephant, died due to excessive overdraft of his strength. Broadcast of the national transport embargo. White elephant nation player Adel, killed by his own grenade. Broadcast of the national transport embargo. White elephant kingdom player Akim, killed by Dragon Kingdom player Suban. Broadcast of the national transport embargo. White elephant kingdom player Rendra, killed by Dragon Kingdom player Suban. At this time, the broadcast of the national transport embargo shook all mankind. At this time, the face between the pillars was dark, and he didn't know what to say. After all, Suban seems to be right at this time. That's why he didn't help these white-eyed wolves in the White Elephant Kingdom. And in the real world. Seeing Suban's thunder shot at this time, countless foreign audiences were silent. And the Dragon Kingdom audience was also extremely impressed by Suban's fierce iron-blooded move. Strike when it's time to strike, without hesitation. Such a person is a Dragon Kingdom player who can take on a big responsibility. Meanwhile, hearing about the achievements of the Dragon Nation, the other players in the National Forbidden Land were also panicked. In particular, the Lighthouse Nation players George and Bryce frowned at this time. Dragon Country players have grown stronger and stronger, and we can never give them another chance, we said. They must have received a lot of rewards before when they killed D-level and C-level beasts, they said. That's why they gradually grew up to such a point. If they don't do anything to them again, maybe their A-level fierce beasts won't pay attention to them. So, they all looked at the nine-tailed demon fox who controlled Kevin, who had been silent for a long time, and said cautiously, "Lord Ninetails. What do you think? Do we want to do something to them quickly? Please lend us strength, let's beat these Dragon Kingdom players quickly, defeat them early, in addition to us, it will be of great benefit to you. After all, if we're in danger, you're at risk too, aren't you?" But the nine-tailed demon fox remained silent. In the first few minutes, he suddenly stood still, keeping his eyes closed. I am feeling the mysterious atmosphere of the distance. At the same time as the national embargo was playing the prompt, his eyes suddenly burst out with an excited fierce light. Dragon Kingdom player kills White Elephant Country player? This one makes me a little familiar. Did you meet an acquaintance? It seems that he has dealt with the Dragon Kingdom players. Episode 46, The Battle of the Dead, Ninetales vs. Suban and Pillar. Dragon Kingdom Harvest. At this time, feeling the mysterious chakra breath faintly in the distance, the nine-tailed demon fox immediately said, "Okay, then let's shoot. I just want to follow the breath and go to find the so-called Dragon Kingdom player." Upon hearing these words, George and Bryce were overjoyed. "Ah, Nine-tailed Lord. Thank you so much for your help. We, the people of the lighthouse, will never forget your kindness." The nine-tailed demon fox showed an unruly look and looked at them condescendingly. "Oh, don't be sentimental, I'm not for you." Hearing this, George and Bryce both lowered their eyebrows and flattered the nine-tailed demon fox. "We all understand. Rest assured, we will thank you very much anyway. As long as our lighthouse country becomes the most powerful player in this national embargo, we will definitely obey you." Now, they are all looking forward to the scene of the next slaughter of the Dragon Kingdom players. As for Ninetales' expression, it was incomparably complicated and secretive. The other side. Players from other countries, after learning of the tragic situation in the White Elephant country, were jealous of Suban and others. What an abomination! I didn't expect that the Dragon Kingdom at this time was already so powerful. What a envy for them. Not only can it kill the B-level psychic beast, but it can also use certain means to solve the White Elephant countrymen. It seems that in order to compete with the Dragon Kingdom players, you must speed up their alliance. Only the united countries of various countries, especially the lighthouse country with such a powerful bottom card as the nine-tailed demon fox, can kill the Dragon Kingdom players. And at this time, the broadcast of the national embargo continues. This is bad news about the White Elephant Kingdom. National embargo tips. White Elephant Nation player Singer and others have died for various reasons. The mineral resources, water resources, forest resources, and arable land resources of the White Elephant country will be reduced by 60%. White Elephant Kingdom points will be reduced by 4,000 points. At this time, the White Elephant Kingdom, because of these punishments, can be said to be completely decayed. Compared to the previous group of stick countries, it may be even worse. The mentality of the White Elephant people has completely collapsed. Or blame their own White Elephant Kingdom players. Why don't you know what to do? Provoke such a strong player as the Dragon Kingdom player. Or it is to scold the cold-blooded ruthlessness of the Dragon Kingdom players. Why can't they let their country go? Of course, their remarks are very pale and weak at this time. If you want to blame them for using such insidious and cunning means to deal with the Dragon Kingdom players before. And at this time, in the face of a series of changes, the audiences of various countries have exploded. The audience of the Dragon Kingdom expressed great satisfaction with the great victory of the Dragon Kingdom. Suban is doing a good job. It's really deflating. We dragon people have never messed with anyone in the first place. It was the White Elephant players who took the initiative to shoot. People don't mess with me, I don't mess with people, and if people mess with me, they will pay me back 100-fold. Our Dragon Kingdom is now strong, and we will never resort to compromise again. Well deserved. Originally, seeing such a brilliant record in our Dragon Kingdom and killing so many powerful beasts, they should know how strong our strength is. But at this time, they are so arrogant, they still want to sneak up on our Dragon Kingdom. It's really self-inflicted. One player who wanted to harm us Dragon Country and ended up playing himself to death, and another one was also killed by himself, all of which were self-inflicted. Followed by the national embargo began to broadcast the additional harvest of the Dragon Kingdom. Hint. Dragon Kingdom player Suban successfully made a legitimate defense and killed the 3 White Elephant Kingdom players who sneaked in. Dragon Country gets 6,000 points for national luck points. Dragon Kingdom players kill White Elephant Kingdom players. The resources obtained by White Elephant Kingdom before Dragon Kingdom will be equally obtained. Therefore, the Dragon Kingdom will receive the realization of 100 D-class Oasis resources. In addition, due to Suban's first kill of the B-level Fierce Beast, Suban gained 120 pupil power attribute increase points. At the same time, because the contestants bind the Dragon Kingdom national fortune, the reward is increased by 12 points to the Dragon Kingdom's national pupil power. Only citizens who have the nationality of the Dragon Kingdom and recognize the Dragon Kingdom from the bottom of their hearts and love the Dragon Kingdom can they be eligible for national luck feedback. Subsequently, countless generous rewards make the Dragon Nation people numb. Surprised to the point of numbness. That's how it feels to receive a reward, right? Meanwhile, Suban was also pleased to find, after scolding the naive words and deeds between the pillars and decisively killing the White Elephant Kingdom players, his Uchiha band's level of play soared from 40% to 45% again. At the same time, after adding the reward of the national transport embargo, Suban's kaleidoscope riding wheel once again increased its pupil power. And there has been a qualitative change. Become an eternal kaleidoscope riding wheel eye. This is a more advanced form than the ordinary kaleidoscope riding wheel eye. In the state of kaleidoscopic riding wheel eyes, if the eyes are overused, the eyes may be overconsumed, and the vision will be reduced, or even direct blindness. However, with the eternal kaleidoscope riding wheel eye, you don't have to worry about the consumption of the eyes, and even open the highest form of Susanoo. At this thought, Suban secretly said in his heart, sure enough. It is also because I have just qualified to play Uchiha Ban, so I can successfully improve my own level of playing. And Suban's words and deeds just now are indeed very much in line with his own thoughts. After all, in the national forbidden land, he would not be a virgin like the pillar. Suban is also very clear. In any world, the achievement of peace is extremely difficult. Delusional about negotiating peace? That's simply not possible. Only iron-blooded force is the only feasible way. Therefore, Suban must subdue all the countries in the national embargo. Let the Dragon Kingdom get more and more resources. The Dragon Kingdom must be given overwhelming power and become the most powerful country. Convincing people. And after that, Suban, Pillar, Gate and Bayuekue also opened the B-class treasure chest rewarded by the national transport embargo, respectively. Congratulations to Dragon Kingdom player Suban. Gain a 130 bonus spirit attribute points. At the same time, because the contestant Suban bound the Dragon Kingdom national fortune, he gave back a reward of 13 points to the Dragon Country's national spiritual attributes. Congratulations to Dragon Country players. Gain a 120 bonus on strength attribute points. Reward for giving back to the Dragon Kingdom's all-people power attribute points by 12 points. After that, Uzumaki and Bayuekue also received a similar increase in great growth. Increase their speed and defense attributes. Their combat effectiveness has also increased significantly compared to before. The huge gap between the original and other countries will be further widened. And the Dragon Kingdom people have also benefited a lot, and it is simply refreshing to get wave after wave of increases. In the real world, after learning of these chains of reward information, the Dragon Nation people are all uplifting. From the beginning of the D-level fierce beasts to the C-level fierce beasts, and now the B-level fierce beasts, they can get the first kill every time. At this time, the national strength of the Dragon Kingdom was already incomparably strong, and the economic development of the Dragon Kingdom had been stagnant for a long time due to population expansion and resource depletion. But after that, with the blessing of so many resources, Dragon Country can definitely achieve leapfrog development again and gain continuous staying power. It is no exaggeration to say that it is only a matter of time before we can surpass the power that the Lighthouse Nation has accumulated over the years. It may only take a few years, or even less. At this time, the Dragon Kingdom live broadcast room is also unprecedentedly lively. It was amazing. If we continue, the rewards we receive will become more and more generous. Our Dragon Kingdom will inevitably become the most powerful country. Long live Miss Bayuekue. Long live the pillars and the doors. Of course, what I admire most is Suban. Other countries are welcome to immigrate to our Dragon Country. As long as you love the Dragon Kingdom and have the ability, of course, if the second devil is speaking, we are still not welcome. But at this time, the people of the lighthouse are still constantly clamoring. Just let your Dragon Kingdom take the lead for the time being, don't be too proud. Since you Dragon Kingdom people do not talk about martial virtue so much and directly use supernatural power, then we in the lighthouse country will naturally not give up, and I believe that our nine-tailed demon fox will definitely be able to kill you in a second. He's already said he's going to target you Dragon Kingdom people, hee. You're ready to die. Your fireball may not even burn a single tail of the nine-tailed demon fox. Even if you trap a B-level beast, what then? These trees will definitely be torn apart by the nine tails. Hearing these words that intimidated the Dragon Kingdom people were actually a little uneasy in their hearts. However, on the surface, we still have to disdain the Lighthouse Country and continue to cheer for Suban and others. I believe that Dragon Country players can continue to create miracles. Afterwards, Suban, Zhujian, Wujian and Bayuekue and others began to continue on their way, looking for resources ahead. Also look forward to encountering more powerful enemies. And on the way, Suban and Uzumaki did not talk much as usual. And the pillars with a lot of words, after experiencing the drastic changes just now, seemed to be a little shocked, and they are also silent. What Suban said really had a great impact on the pillars. Was I really naive in the past? Do we have to listen to Ban and be an iron-blooded and ruthless person in order to achieve peace? For a moment, the pillars couldn't help but be fascinated. And on the other side, several other countries have also begun to gradually gain John's cow country, which is known as the sun never sets. Near a river, a B-class chest was obtained and a medium-sized steamship was obtained. There are also countless powerful artillery pieces on it. Although this is not the powerful artillery of the new century, it is very old, but it is also a very satisfying reward for them. Enough to let them cross the forbidden land. And driving on the river, you can attack and retreat, even if there are fierce beasts or people who are stronger than them, it is not a big deal. After all, they can still drive the boat straight away. So at this moment, John Yogwa people are all flaunting their might, and they are very much looking forward to showing off their strength. At the same time, other traditional powers have also received very powerful rewards. For example, the Germanic people, after receiving their harvest, are also excited. By opening the chest, they acquire a mysterious skill that multiple people can perform together. The art of flying thunder. This is a temporal and spatial ninjutsu that has a similar effect to the Flying Thunder God technique, and it is a low-grade version of the Flying Thunder God technique. These Germanic people are happy to blossom. This is the magic skill that really hangs on, right? The Dragon Kingdom people are definitely inferior to them. Episode 47, The Five-Nation Alliance is established. The target is to kill Suban and other dragon people. Now, the Germans were pleasantly surprised by the rewards of the national embargo. This so-called Flying Thunder Array technique requires 3 people to perform. These 3 people form a formation, and they can transfer the objects and people in the formation to other places. They are complacent about this, believing that they have the most powerful fast-moving tactics in the entire national embargo, and can even repeat the horrors of Blitzkrieg in the national embargo. Continue the glory of the Germanic people. Still in front of the enemy for the first second, attacking with artillery fire. Immediately after a second, he went around the rear of the enemy and launched a sudden attack on him, causing a strong confusion and surprise effect. Let the enemy be caught off guard, and even be killed directly. Whether it is attacking, defending, or fleeing, it has great value. The only drawback is that this Flying Thunder Array technique requires a great deal of energy. For the mortal Germans, once used, they would be severely exhausted and breathless. Therefore, they did not dare to use this Flying Thunder Array technique continuously. And in the real world, the Germans were all excited and fired a barrage. Haha, it seems that God bless me Germanic people. We Germans must rise again. In the Europa League, and even the upcoming Anti-Dragon Alliance, we must dominate. If you encounter more powerful skills and weapons later, you may become the first country in the world, and there is no problem. It's better to replace the Lighthouse Nation and the Dragon Kingdom. And the Dragon Kingdom people saw this very buggy Flying Thunder Array technique, and they were also silent. Why are these anti-dragon countries getting stronger and stronger? Even if the Dragon Nation people have great confidence in Suban and others, they are worried that they will indeed pose a powerful threat to the Dragon Country players. Although their battle strength of May 31st not be as good as Suban, Pillar, Gate and Bayukue 4 people. But with so many countries combined, each country has its own unique odd skills. The Dragon Kingdom players were caught off guard, and they might really be killed by their joint efforts. It's heart-wrenching to think about. The other side, where the Gallic Chicken Country players are located. After a fraud exploration, they also obtained 20 C-class beasts, the Ice War Horse, by opening the treasure chest. These Ice and Snow War Horses, all of which can march rapidly in the icefield terrain of the National Forbidden Land, are of great effect on their attack and defense. The Gallic Chicken countrymen are even thinking, they only have 4 people, so many extra war horses, how should they be used? If it was in the past, even the D-class war beasts could pose a great threat to the players of various countries. They will also be very excited about this sea-level beast. But now, more and more high-level fierce beasts are emerging, so they are more concerned about the strategic value of these warhorses. Instead of caring about the attack power of the Ice War Horse. If it can be used by allies of other countries, I believe this will definitely be of great help. Maybe you can also exchange extra ice horses for useful tools and weapons. At this thought, the people of Gaul Chicken Country are all beautiful in their hearts. As for countries such as Ujali, they also have their own gains. Slowly, they can gain a firm foothold in the national transport embargo and slowly develop their own strength. Later, several countries, such as the Gallic Chicken Kingdom, the John's Cow Country and the Germanic Kingdom, as well as many small countries in Europa, slowly all met together. Many players from small countries have received notifications from their own countries before, telling them to find ways to ally with other countries. Hold the thighs of powerful nations. Especially the thighs of the Lighthouse Nation. Therefore, at this moment, we are all trying to find ways to constantly form alliances, temporarily put aside the disputes between the past Europa countries, and jointly deal with the Dragon country at this time. After the alliance is determined, they will also offer their country's rich harvest in the Forbidden Land. In this way, we can make up for the disadvantages and play to our strengths. I believe that such a powerful alliance is definitely not something that Dragon country players can deal with. Of course, some very important gains or skills, these players will also have some secrets. After all, in such a national embargo, no one can tell others all the information without reservation. After seeing such a loose alliance, the foreigners who were still relatively weak in the original momentum finally had the opportunity to show off their might again. Haha. Our empire can absolutely rule the Forbidden Land. Such a ship can attack you from a distance, are you afraid? After defeating the Dragon Kingdom, we can also travel to other parts of the river to explore this huge national Forbidden Land. In some places, the width of the river is more than 10 kilometers, and without steamships, it is absolutely impossible to go to other places in the national embargo. I heard that there are still indigenous people in this Forbidden Land. Then we, the Empire of the Rising Sun, will continue to colonize the Forbidden Lands. Oh, your Sunset Empire is already thinning out. Or look at our Gal Chicken country. The warhorses of our Gallic Chicken country are enough to form a mighty force to clear all the obstacles before us. Garbage Gal Chicken country, don't surrender. Let's look at our Germanic Flying Thunder Array technique. The magic of the Dragon Kingdom players, in front of our space magic, is not worth mentioning at all. Unfortunately, these people are not clear at this time. The information they have obtained has lagged far behind the development of the situation. I still think that it is best to ally with the Lighthouse people. He didn't know how powerful the Dragon Nation people were at this time. Although they were jealous of this after hearing that the Dragon Kingdom had killed a B-level beast, or even a White Elephant Kingdom player. But countries such as the Gaullese Chicken country also received many powerful rewards after that, and as time passed, they encountered more and more countries, and the combined alliances became larger and larger. The distribution of national embargoes seems to be quite regular, very similar to the international map of the real world. So they are these Europa countries, the players start very close, they can meet so quickly. They have not yet met the Lighthouse Nation and their party, so they are basically allies of Europa. Now, they were all geared up and ready to do something big. The first is to kill the Dragon Kingdom and divide up the rewards of their Dragon Kingdom. At present, the 5 major countries of Europa are gathered here. Gal Chicken country. John Cow country. Germanic. Stupid. Wash the duck. They even claim to be the allied forces of the 5 powers. See such a strong team. The people of countless countries are bursting with self-confidence. Haha. So many people have gathered here to see how your Dragon Kingdom can still compete with us. The Dragon Nation is nothing at all. We will not set in the Empire to be the boss of the Europa League. You're thinking about fart eating. Or are we Germans qualified? The Gallic Chicken country with the strongest army is not convinced. We are not a weak country. We wash the ducks, but we are the bravest bullfighting people. At a time when countless netizens are arguing endlessly, the people of the Europa League are actually intrigues internally. It was only because their interests were temporarily aligned that they reluctantly put aside their disputes and banded together. Not long after their alliance was formed, they encountered 10 B-level fierce beasts. 10,000 snakes. National embargo tips. Detected Gallic Chicken country / John Cow country / Germanic. Of players, encounter the national Forbidden Land fierce beast. Class B fierce beast, 10,000 snakes. Information about the 10,000 snakes, huge creatures, about 50 meters long, quite agile, and extremely strong attack. His personality is arrogant and cruel, and he is one of the most violent beasts in the Forbidden Land of national transportation. If it was in the past, any country that saw such a terrible B-class beast would avoid it. But at this point, they were all full of confidence and began to attack one after another. Rush. Let these forbidden creatures know that we humans are powerful. Even the B-level fierce beasts can't be dealt with. How can they defeat the S-class creatures after that? Before, one country couldn't beat it, and now so many countries can't beat it. It really makes people laugh out of their teeth. This is the first battle of our 5-power alliance. You must win the first battle, followed by. Many countries have long-range attack weapons such as guns and cannons, and have launched fire suppression against the snakes. Boom. Boom. Dada. Dense artillery fire enveloped the 10,000 snakes. These shells thundered on the body of the 10,000 snakes and exploded into flowers. Shape 217 can be enough to soar into the clouds of smoke. The scene is spectacular. This snake, which happened to encounter humans, was also furious in the face of the artillery attack of the 5 major powers alliance at this time. These abominable alien humans. How dare you hurt yourself so much? Is it intolerable or intolerable? 10,000 snakes stared fiercely, and with a fierce momentum soaring up into the sky, they immediately rushed towards the 5 major countries' alliance army. Tens of meters long body, when crawling quickly, can cause a sensation on the ground. The size of the 10,000 snakes was completely like the giant beast on the blue star, and the snake letter on its mouth was constantly swallowing, flashing a frightening purple light. As long as you rush into the enemy position and raise your hands and feet, the 10,000 snakes are enough to completely slaughter the weak human beings in front of you. Seeing that their own shells could not quickly break through the defenses of the B-class fierce beasts, the 5 major alliance forces were extremely shocked. How is that possible? Is even a B-level beast so difficult? Not long ago, didn't the Dragon Kingdom players already kill B-level fierce beasts? Our growth rate is not as good as that of the Dragon Kingdom players? You must know that this is the artillery fire of our 5 major powers coalition forces. It seems to be injured, but it's not deadly. Fire. Keep firing. He must be completely killed, ahem. It must have been too far away, so it didn't hit him. If he gets closer, it will be a dead end. Seeing such a difficult 10,000 snakes, the 5 major power alliance forces were even more desperate, tilting all the thermal weapons that could be used to the body of the 10,000 snakes. Bang, where the shell landed. A large amount of snow, even the 10,000 years of cold ice under the ground, evaporated in an instant. Even the 10,000 snakes who could grasp the power of the Forbidden Land and use the chakra energy in the Forbidden Land of national transport were attacked by so many cannon fire at this time, and they couldn't help but grin in pain. Under the fury, the 10,000 snakes accelerated the pace of breakthrough. Roar. Furious, the 10,000 snakes had come to the sky above the 5 power alliance and looked condescendingly at these small human beings. After looking up at such a terrible 10,000 snakes, the 5-nation alliance army, which was still dismissive of the B-level fierce beast, finally recalled the fear of being dominated by the creatures of the Forbidden Land. Episode 48, the 5-nation alliance subdues the B-class beast. The Dragon Kingdom directly subdued the tailed beast? After the 10,000 snakes arrived in front of the 5 power alliance. Followed by bang. The head of the 10,000 snakes slammed into the ground, smashing the ground into a huge pit more than 10 meters deep. The cobweb-like cracks stretched rapidly and were tens of meters long. Almost all the people in the pit who bore the brunt of it were badly injured. Many players have been scaled all over their bodies, broken arms and legs, and even killed on the spot. The power of the B-level fierce beast is so terrifying. The 5 major alliances all screamed, damn. Didn't the Dragon Kingdom players kill the B-level fierce beasts just now? I also thought that this Suban and others were working with the White Elephant Kingdom players to deal with the B-level fierce beasts, so our 5-nation alliance should not need to pay much price to kill the B-level fierce beasts, right? These people did not see the scene of the Dragon Kingdom players and the White Elephant Kingdom players fighting, so they could not believe the strength of the Dragon Kingdom players at this time. But at this time, once again, they have to admit it. Even if the 5 Powers Alliance was formed, they were still left far behind by the Dragon Kingdom players. They have just become arrogant because of the large number of people and the gains they have gained in the National Forbidden Land. Thought he was enough to sweep away all the creatures in the national embargo. But he had forgotten that when he first came to the Forbidden Land, even if he faced the E-class creatures, he was helpless. Therefore, these hot weapons are even more insignificant in front of the B-level fierce beasts. After seeing this scene, the powerful players of various countries also realized that they could no longer hide their secrets. Otherwise, even if they defeated this 10,000 snakes, they would suffer heavy losses. The Gallic Chicken Kingdom immediately channeled their sea-level fierce beasts out. Psychic. Boom. A puff of smoke rose from the ground. 20 ice horses suddenly appeared. Punch me. Defeat the stinky snake. Our Gaulish Chicken country has the strongest army in the world. What is a snake? It must be completely washed away. For Gallic Chicken people rode on ice and snow war horses and began to charge. Roar. Under the orders of the Gallic Chicken countrymen, the ice and snow war horses rushed to the snake without a life. When the 10,000 snakes saw so many fierce beasts suddenly attacking, they were also shocked. This group of hateful human beings can even be invoked by the creatures of the National Forbidden Land? Is that justified? The 10,000 snakes could not attack the other humans, and immediately turned the snake's head and began to attack this group of warhorses. In the anticipation of everyone's eyes, the 10,000 snakes and 20 warhorses collided head-on and rumbled. In the fierce collision, the 10,000 snakes directly knocked several ice and snow warhorses directly into the air. There was even the sound of teeth-aching bones breaking, echoing through the battlefield. But other ice and snow war horses also attacked, hitting the 10,000 snakes with their own heads. Some ice and snow war horses can also suddenly spit out energy clusters from their mouths and crash into the 10,000 snakes at close range. And the 4 Gallic chicken people also held weapons, immediately aimed at the vulnerable parts of the 10,000 snakes, and tilted the ammunition in their hands. Da-da-da-da-wa-boom. Their rifles could indeed exert extremely strong lethality at such a close distance, and they exploded on the 10,000 snakes. In particular, the bullet that hit the eye of the 10,000 snakes is still quite harmful to the 10,000 snakes. The 10,000 snakes roared in anger because of the pain, and the snake's head slammed into the ground again, and swept left and right. Boom. Several ice and snow war horses were also hit by 10,000 snakes again and flew tens of meters. One of the Gallic chicken countrymen also fell to the ground, grinning in pain. If it weren't for the snow on the ground, he might have fallen to pieces at such a fast speed. However, the remaining 3 Gallis did not flinch and continued to attack the 10,000 snakes. We Gallian chickens are not spoiled. No matter how strong you are, we are not afraid. Ice war horse, keep attacking this snake. In addition to the Gallic chicken countrymen, John Cow country and Italian people have struck. All kinds of means poured out. These are all mysterious forbidden places they have opened from the mysterious treasure chest. Psychic scrolls capable of using low-level ninjutsu, such as shuriken, large knife, bitterness, detonator, and other ninja tools. The 5 major alliances had previously regarded the reward as a treasure, and at this time, they all directly used it without hesitation. After all, if they continue to hide their secrets, then they are likely to be completely annihilated. The 10,000 snakes were also tortured by their means, and could only resist desperately. Sizzle. Boom. In the past, the 10,000 snakes were still high B-level fierce beasts, but as the saying goes, ants bite dead elephants, so they are outnumbered and gradually lose the power to fight back. Although in the dying struggle, the 10,000 snakes still took a few humans and ice war horses to accompany the burial, but eventually lost consciousness and directly hung down the tall and huge snake head. Seeing that after paying a heavy price and barely defeating this 10,000 snakes, the people of the 5 major alliances were all mixed feelings. It's not easy to defeat a B-class beast. The means of each of them are unreserved. What did Suban and others do? Did they also get powerful help such as sea-level fierce beasts? At the same time as they were secretly amazed in their hearts, because they saw that the 10,000 snakes had not yet been killed, they still did not dare to stop the attack in their hands, lest the serpents come back from the dead and slaughter them again. In addition, they are also desperately attacking with the reward of snatching and killing B-level fierce beasts. After all, the last one to repair the knife successfully, maybe you can get the most generous reward when the crowd continues to desperately attack the 10,000 snakes. An eerie light suddenly shot out. It is covered with thick black magic energy fluctuations. Shout. A magic array grew from small to large, forming a sealed boundary that enveloped the body of the 10,000 snakes. The attacks of the 5 Great Powers Alliance and others were immediately counteracted by this boundary. Seeing this, the people of the 5 major alliance forces all shifted their eyes to the people who launched the boundary. A John Cow countryman with a black hat and a black robe dressed like a necromancer said slowly, "My name is Merlin. This is a one-time skill I acquired before, necromancer. I can contract ordinary beasts and make them obey my orders. And this B-level beast was beaten to death, so I was able to successfully cast the spell. Otherwise, I might only be able to contract 10 Song sea-level fierce beasts at most." After hearing these words, people in other countries are gloomy. They also thought of killing the 10,000 snakes as a reward for the national forbidden land. But now it seems that this idea is in vain. Can only watch as John Bull country acquires a powerful beast as their helper. What an infuriating thing. However, John Cow country is still their open partner, so they still have to give him a face. I didn't expect that you, the pretending wizards of the John Cow country, would really have a chance to obtain sorcery. As long as you can defeat more fierce beasts in the Forbidden Land, you can defeat the Dragon Kingdom players. You have such a big ship and such a powerful B-class beast, you must become the main force in the battle after that. The John Cow people are naturally overjoyed, saying that they should not give in. It is even no exaggeration to say that with their strength, they can become the leader of the 5 major alliances. And after that, although he did not kill the B-class beast, the corresponding broadcast was still broadcast in the National Transport Embargo. National Embargo Tips. John Bull Nation Merlin successfully subdued the B-level Fierce Beast 10,000 snakes. Accept the B-class Fierce Beast and reward 5,000 points. Currently, John Cow Country is in second place in the national game standings. 8,000 points in total. At present, Dragon Country is ranked first in the national game standings, with a total of 49,000 points. I hope other countries continue to refuel and try to catch up. After hearing these words. On the other side, Suban, Between the Pillars, Between the Doors, and by Uekue, all stopped. He said thoughtfully, John Cow Nation took down the B-class beast? It turns out that these fierce beasts can still be subdued? It seems that the other camp also has a good hand. I have a bold idea. The pillar immediately stopped him. At the end of the day, you still don't mention your dangerous thoughts, just such a B-class fierce beast, it will not be put in our eyes. The strange forbidden arts between the pillars also had a tingling of the scalp. Unless it was a last resort, the pillar would never agree to the use of forbidden magic. However, seeing the secretive look between the pillars, by Uekue and countless audiences were curious. Sleeper. Is there any unknown hole card in the doorway? This is very normal, Suban and the pillar are so powerful, the door will never pull the crotch to anywhere. Could it pose a powerful threat to our Dragon Nation players? No. Not sure why. I have a vague feeling that it poses a greater threat to the enemy. It can even be inhumane. Condemned by them? Ah. That has to be used. In the battlefield, how can there be a virgin? Now they have all formed a 5-nation alliance. We Dragon Country players are getting more and more dangerous. I hope Suban they don't have anything to do next. Back to the picture. Suban also began to mutter, the relationship between the White Elephant Kingdom player and this dream taper just now should be the relationship between the psychic beast and the contractor, right? But the White Elephant Nation doesn't seem to be rewarded with points, while John Cow Country does. So John's cattle people should have taken the initiative to subdue this 10,000 snakes, right? If we say that, then we will also take the initiative to subdue the beast, and we may also receive rewards. Hearing this, the pillar said excitedly, ah. Spot. You are really smart. That's so much fun, I'm going to go with it. I'm good at this. Catching a few pets to play with is really very interesting, he also nodded. Well, even if you kill these fierce beasts, you won't get much useful rewards, so it's better to study these fierce beasts directly, maybe you can get more information about the national transport embargo. Suban looked at the pillar and the door, and seemed to be a little disgusted. If you like to toss and turn, if it is a tailed beast, you may still be a little interested. Of course. Suban, Between the Pillars and Between the Doors, did not know that their simple words were full of words in the eyes of the audience. Here we go again. The Versailles between the Suban and the pillars are soft. If it had been before, we wouldn't have believed it, but now, I absolutely believe it. Although I don't dare to say that they can definitely defeat the S-level fierce beast, or even the 9-tailed demon fox in the Lighthouse Country, the A-level fierce beast should still be easy. Originally, the performance of the 5 major countries' alliance army, the dragon people were still a little worried. But at this point, they started cheering again. Episode 49, Great of Fierce Beast Rampage. Battle of the Pillars. Wild Brush, 3 times points. In the Dragon Kingdom live broadcast room, the audience continued to begin to relish, the words between the doors are also invisible and forced. The increased points they get for attributes such as speed, strength, and spirit are also useless rewards. We got the feedback of the national fortune, only added 10% of the attributes, are extremely comfortable. Players from other countries also feel that they have instantly broken through the mortal realm and benefited a lot. Suban is even more awesome, and he directly hit the most powerful beast with the tail. The one who easily destroyed the kangaroo country before is not a tailed beast that is still sleeping. Their 9-tailed demon fox in the Lighthouse Nation should also be a very powerful tailed beast. It seems that Suban really has ideals. Of course, the foreign devils were still subconsciously unwilling, and at the same time did not want to believe the words of Suban and others. They continued to work hard to defeat the self-confidence of the Dragon Nation. Got it. You Dragon Kingdom players, don't blow it. Still bragging yourself to look down on these attribute amplification points? Even if you just defeated the B-class beast, so what? Our 5-nation coalition can also be completed. We Gallic chickens have the strongest army, a C-class ferocious beast cavalry force attack, you will be annihilated in an instant. Even if your single attack power is a little stronger, it is impossible to defeat our 5-nation alliance. You stole the magic of our wizarding nation, and you really think you can beat our orthodoxy? See how Merlin's magicians abuse you. Class B beasts are forced to obey our John Bull Kingdom. Weak Dragon Nation, it is even more impossible to defeat our Lighthouse Nation with the 9-tailed demon fox. Now, At a time of heated discussion, another voice suddenly sounded, "National embargo tips." It has been detected that there has been a huge change in the pattern of the national embargo at this time. Start a points challenge with a 1-day duration. When you kill a beast or get resources, your points will be doubled. At the same time, the national transport embargo will also open the ferocious beast fury area outside the 990. In these designated areas, the ferocity and attack power of the beasts will be further enhanced. At the same time, players will receive 3 times the reward of points when they kill these berserk beasts, or grab resources under their hands. At the end of this day, there will be a point settlement, ranking higher, and you will get a generous reward. The reward for the first place will be an A-class chest starting, and may even reach the S level. No cap on. After hearing these words, players and spectators from all over the world were in shock. Unexpectedly, the national embargo actually began to do things again. This is to force everyone to continue to speed up the pace and take the initiative to kill the beast. And it is a furious beast whose strength has been further enhanced. That points challenge can be described as an opportunity and a crisis coexisting. At the same time, it is also a period of counterattack in backward countries. At this time, after facing the unattainable goal of 49,000 points for Dragon Country players, players from other countries have finally developed the fighting spirit to catch up. After they can definitely surpass the Dragon Kingdom. Haha, look at how we John Cow Country people desperately brush points. What is your B-class beast? Or are we 20? No, 18 C-class fierce beasts of the Gallic Chicken Countrymen. The combat effectiveness is stronger. We John Bull Country are second in the standings at this time. Although the players in your national embargo are not clear, we in the audience are very aware of how powerful the bottom card of the Shooping Duck Country is. Cut. Who doesn't have a whole card yet? We are also deeply hidden. Do you think that the John Cow Country people can stand out from the limelight for a while and be proud of other countries? We Ottoman native chicken countries don't want to expose the bottom card. Why are you gulls so desperate? Speaking and talking, people within the coalition forces of the 5 major powers are all players who are desperately bragging about their own countries. They all feel that the whole cards in their hands are definitely not much worse than those of Gaul Chicken Country and others. Some are indeed true. Some are overbragging. Of course, the most competent at this time is the Lighthouse Country. Don't fight, although we Lighthouse people are a little behind before, but that is to get the 9-tailed demon fox. Now is the time for us to overtake. Even our powerful special forces are controlled by the 9-tailed demon fox, and you can imagine how powerful the 9-tailed demon fox is. Ahem. Aren't you Lighthouse nations the most fond of bullying others? Now that it is controlled by the beasts of the national Forbidden Land, are you still so complacent? It's better than you Dragon Kingdom players. You Dragon Country players may not even have the qualifications to be controlled. Spit up. In addition to loving to be the father of others, you Lighthouse countries are also a good hand when you kneel and lick the animals as a father. It's all a bunch of scum, and none of us fighting nations obey anyone. Except for the Dragon Kingdom. Indeed, all of you should obey our Dragon Kingdom. Your points one by one are not even a fraction of the Dragon Kingdom. The battle for online platforms cannot be stopped for a while. At this time, the Dragon people have indeed made a name for themselves on the online platform. People from other countries were not convinced of the Dragon country's leading position at this time. They also said that they would surpass the Dragon Kingdom in the next points challenge. I believe that after receiving the advanced treasure chest reward of the points challenge, they will definitely be reborn. If you even have the chance, when you see the Dragon Kingdom players, you will directly kill them. Just when the live broadcast room is bustling with activity. Moreover, at this time, in the live broadcast room of the Dragon Kingdom, there was also a voice that only the Dragon Country players and the audience could hear. National embargo tips. Within the range of the Dragon Kingdom players, the ferocious beast rampage region will be opened. Countless B-level fierce beasts, A-level fierce beasts, are about to start approaching the Dragon Kingdom players. That's what came out. The Dragon Kingdom audience was in an uproar. Mommy! The legendary ferocious beast rampage region has appeared. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing for our Dragon Kingdom. Is this a chance for us to brush up on points? Haha, if we can get more 3x points, then other countries will definitely be even more unable to catch up with us. Of course, skeptical remarks soon appeared in the barrage area. The people of the Dragon Kingdom are indeed arrogant people. The furious A-class fierce beast will definitely be more powerful than usual, so be prepared for the annihilation of the group. It seems that you Dragon Kingdom players may not live to be killed by the combined forces of our 5 major powers. Well, don't think this will blow our faith. Before we fought the White Elephant Kingdom players and B-class fierce beasts, they were all hand to hand. Before Subanki didn't take another breath, Hitting an A-class fierce beast, even if it was a little difficult, it would certainly not be a problem, right? However, there are also rational Dragon Kingdom people who analyze, let's not be too complacent. Before the White Elephant national players sacrificed the national fortune, didn't they almost make themselves die directly? Who knows if Suban and others will use so many magical means, there will be drastic consumption. That said, I hope that our Dragon Country players can be more stable, don't be too wasteful. I don't know if the crazy A-level fierce beast will be more terrifying if there are still multiple cases. For a time, there were all kinds of analyses in the barrage area. The crowd could only continue to watch the performance of the Dragon Kingdom players. Experiment is the only criterion for testing truth. It's a mule or a horse, just take it out and slip it out. When the outside world was arguing non-stop, Suban, between the pillars, between the doors, and by Uekue, they also began to discuss fiercely. The excitement between the columns was like that of a child going to the playground. Ha ha ha. So many fierce beasts are coming, we have to play. Spot. Let's fight back to each other. The pillars were directly close to Suban's body and began to hook up with him. Suban immediately cried out in a very disgusted voice, pillars. Enough is enough. What's there to be excited about? Also, don't make me know you well. Pillar Jian didn't care about Suban's actions at this time and grinned widely. Oops, Spot, what are you doing so awkwardly? We are now continuing the ideals of the past, fighting side by side, working to protect our companions, to protect our country, Suban said lightly. Forget it, Pillar Between, you are too weak now. I have already reached the other side of the river, you can't catch up with me anymore. Not to mention being my companion, even being my opponent, I am not qualified. Although Suban's words were heartfelt, they were indeed the truth. He also wanted to grow up quickly in this national forbidden land, barely able to fight with himself. Otherwise, I would be really bored in this national embargo. Let's hope to spawn a little more monsters between the columns and get a little more attribute amplification points. The mouth between the columns flattened, and it seemed to be a little aggrieved. Alas, Spot, you are still the same as in the past, so heartbroken. Suban had a black line on his face. Pillar Between, it's time for you to change your temperament, don't be deeply hit by the moment. In the live broadcast room of the Dragon Kingdom, I saw these nonsensical conversations between Suban and the pillars. Once again, the audience feasted their eyes. Haha, it's bumpy again. Suban and Zhu Jian were indeed happy and spared. Haha, only such a big guy between the pillars will be depressed and frustrated, which really doesn't match his fighting style. It is estimated that only a big guy like Suban can be so disgusted with the pillar. Cough cough cough. In fact, Bayuekue and Akima are also very aggrieved. It is estimated that they are not even qualified to be disliked by Suban. You guys look at Bayuekue and Uzumaki, they look at Suban and Zhu Jian flirting. This expression is really amazing. It's all memes, hurry up screenshots for souvenirs. Suban's disgust, the low drop between the pillars, the helplessness between the doors, and the confusion of Bayuekue are really world-famous paintings. On the screen, Suban and the pillar were still discussing. Pillar Between the pillars lifted their spirits again and began to propose. Ban, if you are so disgusted with me, then let's compete. If you want to destroy the beasts, maybe I'm much better than you. Suban still didn't even look at the pillar. Come on, you soft attack, do you mean to say that you are the strongest? Pillar Jian clenched his fists and said excitedly, haha, then let's gamble. Whoever gets the most points for killing a beast will get leadership. Losers have to be obedient to those who succeed. After hearing these words, Suban had a little bit of anticipation. Gambling again? Then you lose. Bet on it. By the way, in order to brush more points, let's divide the soldiers into two ways. The columns opened their mouths wide again. Ah. Why? I don't want to be separated from Spotaju. What if I can't find each other later? Once again, the pillars are deeply hit. Episode 50. Spotted pillar match teammate by Uekue was disgusted and the bears were all bigger. Now. It really seems that the pillars do not want to be separated from Suban. Seeing that while talking, he was getting closer and closer to his own pillar, Suban could only glance at him and take a few steps back again. Between the columns. We act separately to improve the efficiency of killing fierce beasts, lest when I fight, you will only stare dryly. That's right. I suggest that you two brothers cooperate, otherwise, your combined record may not be comparable to mine, he said in a calm tone. Spot. You're really arrogant. Pillar suddenly remembered a transparent person next to him, looked at Bayuekue, and pondered, this is also okay, but I am too strong with Uzumaki, it will still destroy the balance of the game, it is a big deal that the two of us plus this girl Bayuekue, we'll have to take care of her anyway. That's a draw. After hearing these words from the other party, Suban shook his head. No, this Bayuekue is still with me, I don't think you can take care of it. I don't care about her drag. Pillars continued to argue with Suban, then how to do it. On the protection ability, although your attack power is very strong, but you on the protection ability, you are not as good as mine. Suban showed a disgusted look. Forget it, my current strength is far superior to yours. Offense is the best defense. If I encounter any enemies, I will destroy them all. Bayuekue? Bayuekue listened and listened, and something was wrong. Listen to what they mean, how they feel. Ah no, it is a burden to put yourself on the table. With them, will it seriously drag down their performance? Take the bamboo shoots. Bayuekue felt that he was already on the verge of a volcanic eruption, his face was red, and his heart was not unhappy. The heart mouth is also violently together. It is estimated that when she fought with the Xian Frost Python before, she had never breathed so much. As soon as I heard these words of Suban, between the pillars and between the doors, I saw Bayuekue's appearance again. In the Dragon Kingdom live broadcast room, everyone laughed. I've seen insults, I've never seen such insults. Look at Miss Bayuekue, you are already angry that the bears are big. Although it is not very appropriate, I really want to boast that Suban, the pillar, and the door are really considerate. Laughing at me to death, in the hearts of Suban, between the pillars and between the doors, does the existence of Miss Bayuekue still play a negative role? People who don't know think they are robbing the strong, but they don't expect to be competing for the weak, to protect the weak. Looking at their conversation from a certain point of view, you may think that they are robbing the good-looking little sister and asking the hero to save the United States, haha. I even suspected that Zhu Jian was eating the vinegar of Miss Bayuekue, so I didn't let Miss Bayuekue go to Suban's side. For a time, the more the crowd spoke, the happier they became. On the screen, Bayuekue also wanted to express his dissatisfaction on the spot. I'm not a vase. But Suban and Zhu Jian didn't seem to have considered Bayuekue's appearance. Anyway, Ban, I don't think you can protect Bayuekue at all, so let her follow me and Akira. Well, I'm too lazy to continue arguing with you, see where Bayuekue wants to go. Anyway, with her without her, I don't have much impact. Okay, she loves to talk to whomever she wants, anyway, what matters is the bis between us. Followed by Suban and Zhu Jian seem to have made a decision to divide the soldiers into two ways and are about to start brushing points. Pillar immediately took the initiative to talk to Suban back to back and began to shout, Ban, are you ready? I went from 10 to 1, and then we immediately set off at the same time, 10981. Go. Jumping directly from 8 to 1 between the pillars, with a scheming smile, his body quickly exploded. He just wanted to look back and see Suban, who was still stunned. Thought it would be wonderful. However, when the pillar just turned back, he found that the figure of the spot was also quickly gone, and he was not caught off guard by himself at all, as if he had been prepared earlier. Pillar Jian suddenly shouted angrily, Hey! Spot, you're really bad at learning. When did you become so dishonest? Suban's voice came from afar, haha, between the columns. I'm not as stupid as you think. After seeing the appearance between Suban and the pillar. Bayuekue. Akira. Hatsuma sighed with hatred and immediately followed his big brother. Although his eldest brother seems to be very powerful, Akima still feels that he is very unconscious. Even if the pillars are mainly responsible for spawning monsters, they can prevent unexpected needs and provide help when they need it. After all, in the national embargo, there may be threats other than monsters. With the big grin between the pillars, there was really no guarantee that he would never have an accident. Dragon Country Live Room. Seeing this strange scene, the audience laughed again. I didn't expect Suban and Zhu Jian to be so funny. This pillar doesn't seem very smart, but it's a little careful. Suban is really thick and thin. It seems that he is also accustomed to the means between the pillars, so he has not been pitted by him. Let's see what they do next. Our Dragon Kingdom will definitely be the first in the National Forbidden Land. As for Bayuekue at this time, looking at the people and horses on both sides, his heart was very entangled. I feel that no matter where I go, I may be rejected by others. So do you have to go to the special single belt? However, if you encounter a crazy A-class beast, it is better to follow your companions if you really may encounter danger. Besides, between this Suban and the pillar, the brain is a little strange. If there is a door between the pillars to watch, I still go to look at Suban. Lest Suban get lost, there may be no way for 4 people to meet. Good. Then go and follow Suban. In addition, Bayuekue also has an important goal, that is, to prove it to Suban well. She is not a so-called weak woman. I can stand alone. You must let Suban see the style of slaying the fierce beast. At this thought, Bayuekue immediately set off and began to follow Suban. The audience also began to ridicule. Miss Bayuekue still chose the bright Suban. Maybe you think Suban is more trustworthy? Haha, I hope she doesn't drag her feet too much. You see, Bayuekue chased after Suban bitterly, but Suban, the big straight man, didn't turn his head back. Haha. What a lonely life. It seems that my husband can only be mine. Oh, you don't have to think too much. Suban can't even look at Bayuekue. Will he still look up to you? I am 1,000 gold misses of a listed company. I don't know if I can be worthy of Suban. Ahem. Or is it my female Sonda champion who deserves Suban? At this time, the audience of the Dragon Kingdom was desperately praising Suban. After a long live broadcast, Suban has indeed gained great popularity and has become the most popular member of the Dragon Kingdom players. In addition to being a bit straight and always talking with a heart, it is difficult for the crowd to point out how many deficiencies he has. Meanwhile, after seeing that Suban and Zhu Jian were actually divided into two roads, the foreigners in the Dragon Kingdom live broadcast room were also shocked to drop their jaws. Are you Dragon Kingdom players so brave? We Europa are all united, and you are still separated? What a stark contrast. What's more, this is still in the ferocious beast area. Aren't you worried about encountering a crazy Class A beast? Dragon Kingdom players are so arrogant, they are doomed to self-destruction. Well, this will also give us the opportunity to break through one by one. Hearing this, the people of the Dragon Kingdom all retorted one after another. Oh, we are called the boldness of the artists. After all, from the beginning to the present, our Dragon Kingdom players have always been single-brush monsters, and it seems that we don't need to gather all our strength. Only you weak people have to hold together. Time. The Dragon Kingdom live broadcast room was a mess, saying everything. The atmosphere is also extremely joyful. Meantime, the major publics, who had been silent for a long time, finally found the opportunity to speak again. For example, the short and tight who had been low-key for several hours began to broadcast live again, pointing at the Dragon Country players. The Dragon Country players are so proud and complacent. At this critical moment, they do not assemble, and even separate. It is really stupid. They're definitely going to suffer their own consequences. Compared with the United Europa people, we Dragon people are really far behind. When we encounter the Europa League, or when we encounter hordes of Class A beasts, we will definitely pay a heavy price for it. After hearing these words, the people of the Dragon Kingdom were naturally very dissatisfied. Oh, I haven't seen you in a long time. This public knowledge has come out again to make these show IQ remarks. Before, when the Dragon Kingdom players destroyed the C-level and B-level fierce beasts, they didn't see you come out to speak, but now they are out. When the Dragon Kingdom players performed well, they didn't say it, and now they say, you really elbow out. What the ingredients are, we don't need to say more. Look at Suban people, how to punch you in the face later. As a matter of public knowledge, when the Dragon Kingdom is unlucky, it will jump out and point. When the Dragon Kingdom is brilliant, or when the Westerners are unlucky, he will directly pretend to be dead. It's really a double standard to the extreme. However, at this moment, the people of the Dragon Kingdom, the national pride and self-confidence are unprecedentedly strong, so naturally they cannot tolerate such people as Short and Tight to continue to exist. However, in the face of so many attacks on him, Short Daki continued to speak very calmly. In addition, I think the Europa people are very wise at this time. At this time, all people should unite. This is the best way to deal with the beast and achieve the common prosperity of all mankind. Just now, when the White Elephant people were in conflict with us, if we could take generous measures, everyone would be able to turn their quarrels into jade and form an alliance together to face the common enemy. Isn't that bad? We really should approve of the idea of Interpillar. Someone as extreme as Suban only wants to fight and kill the White Elephant Kingdom, and I am very dissatisfied. If it is Short and Tight, it is getting more and more outrageous. The three views are crooked to the point that normal people can't tolerate it.